And joining me right now for a preview of the NBA Finals are two icons in Philippine basketball. We have former Gilas Pilipinas head coach and current Ateneo Blue Eagles head coach Tab Baldwin, and PBA legend and the head coach of the Philippine 3x3 team, the Point Laureate, Ronnie Magsanoc. Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning, Andre.
Coach Ronnie, good morning.
Hi, Dre.
I want to start before we discuss the NBA Finals, the preview. Why are you in a Boston Red Sox jersey?
Why not?
We're talking about the NBA Finals, not the World Series.
Well, you see, when the Celtics get knocked out of the playoffs, as they occasionally do, it automatically becomes baseball season, which automatically makes it Red Sox season for me.
Okay, dapat pala nag-Yankees ka na, no, Coach Ronnie?
Okay.
Okay, now, down to business. Exciting times for NBA fans again. It's episode 4 of the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. First of all, Coach Ronnie, Coach Tab, was this the finals matchup, honestly, that you expected? Again, did you expect another, you've been covering the NBA, Coach Ronnie, did you expect another Cleveland Cavalier and Golden State Warriors showdown in the finals?
Well, probably before the season started, this was what people expected. But during the course of the season, especially in the last 2 weeks, I was not really too sure that the Cavs nor the Warriors will be able to get past the series that they played in. But looking at Game 6 of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, you can sense that the teams that knew how to win and get to the next level had undue advantage, even if the Cavs were handicapped and even if the Warriors were playing in the home court of the Rockets.
How about you? You're a big fan of Boston. You said the Celtics, but did you expect like LeBron will face again Golden State? LeBron and the Cavs will face Golden State again in the finals?
I thought the Eastern Conference was a bit of a toss-up. In the beginning, I thought Toronto might find their way through, but you know, the Cavs put that to bed pretty quick.
Sweet.
Yeah. But I thought the Celtics had a great chance, but they're just a bit young. And LeBron showed his class. He really led them to a win. So it's not a surprise that the Cavs are there. But honestly, beforehand, I would have said, you know, who knows, out of the East.
Now let's go talk about the Warriors first. Coach Ronnie, Coach Tab, a lot of people have been saying they're really the favorites again to win another title in the NBA Finals against the Cavs. Even Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, picked the Warriors along with the Rockets as the favorites. Do you guys agree with Kobe that, you know, the Dubs really have an advantage here?
Yeah, I think it's a huge advantage. And frankly, I don't think they'll sweep it. I think Cleveland is going to have that game where they shoot the ball really well from the perimeter, and it's going to cause problems. But generally, I think Golden State will do a good job of limiting LeBron. LeBron's not going to change the way he plays. He's going to need his supporting cast. He's going to have big games. But if that supporting cast doesn't come through in a big way, Golden State will win easily because their offense is going to be consistent no matter what.
Coach Ronnie, there's a change in personnel. Of course, it's not the same lineup for both squads that faced last year. Even without Andre Iguodala, do you think the Warriors still are the favorites to win it all here?
Yes, they have 4 All-NBA first-team members. They have 4 All-Star players. They have the depth, they have the size, and they have the healthier lineup in the series. You go back to last year's finals, Cleveland had LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. They lost 4-1. This year, no Kyrie. Kevin Love might be coming out of protocol and will be playing probably in Game 1 of the finals. But I think it's going to be the roster power of the Warriors and the way they structure their philosophy on the overall aspect of the game versus LeBron James and the supporting cast. So, I think the case is simply how far will the Cavs last against the Warriors in the finals?
Well, you're both right, because on paper, Golden State really looks like the better team. Cleveland does have the best player in the world right now, but Golden State has these players. They have, of course, Steph Curry, they have Klay Thompson, that's what Kevin Durant.
Super team.
Yeah, they have a super team, and you even add Draymond Green there. But who else, in your opinion, needs to step up with all the depth that they have? Who do you think should also contribute significantly here in the finals for GSW?
I don't think that anybody else needs to step up, frankly. I think that collectively their defense has to do a good job, and they have to limit what Cleveland is capable of doing, and they have to collectively do the best they can to shut down or limit LeBron, because that's going to go a long way toward putting a lot of pressure on the supporting cast. But I think when you look at Golden State's roster, nobody else is going to be asked to come in and do anything special. I think the Livingstons and the McCalls and, you know, maybe even a McGee, you know, who knows? These guys, obviously Bell and who's the other center?
Kevin Looney.
Yeah, Looney.
Looney.
They've got to do their job as well. But the weight will be carried by, you know, the 4 great players that they have. And I don't think they're going to need to go any deeper than that.
Coach Ronnie, how about you?
Well, I believe that the Super All-Stars are totaling about 70 to 80 points per game. On the flip side, for Cleveland, LeBron is about 34 per contest, Love is about 13. So that's 57. The shortage is somewhat so hard to fill in unless J.R. Smith comes up with a big game, unless Jeff Green once again plays a special series, and unless Kyle Korver once again regains his shooting touch. The consistency of Golden State scoring and their defensive versatility will make it really hard for the Cavs to be able to overcome. But I believe, as Coach said, it's not going to be a sweep. But I think that it's going to be hard-pressed for the Cavs to overcome the GSW Warriors.
It's a daunting task ahead against Golden State, but they do have LeBron James. How tough is this going to be for them? They're coming off a 7-game series against Boston. How tough will this be this time around without Kyrie, Coach Ronnie?
It's not going to be easy. But we just also want to give credit to what the Cavs have been able to do. Win a Game 7 at a hostile territory, beating a team that has not lost in its home court for the entire postseason. The finals is a totally different issue, but I think LeBron should also be really just given the due credit that sometimes is overlooked because of his superhuman athleticism. But with what he has done, what he has brought onto the game, how he has been able to win with a different support cast, how he was able to turn this team with 2 major roster revisions during the midstream and late in the season is something that has not been seen before. And I think in spite of the fact that Jeff Green and Korver and Smith and Tristan Thompson played their hearts out and helped out LeBron, it will boil down to what LeBron was able to do to bring out the best in his teammates.
I agree 100%. And I think another sideline factor was I think Tristan Thompson played a big role in the semifinals because he did a tremendous job on Al Horford. That's not there now for the Golden State Warriors. What is Tristan Thompson's role now? There is no big man in the middle. There is no defensive stopper need for the Cavs in the middle. So now Tristan Thompson is reduced really to the role of offensive rebounder. And are they going to use him in that role, or are they going to try and find another small ball player to put out there around LeBron who's going to create shots for these guys? And I think if the supporting cast, and they will, they'll hit shots in 1 game, maybe 2, and make it really tough on Golden State. And they proved with Boston they can play very good defense when they have to. But again, LeBron is going to have to do this many times on his own. That supporting cast is going to fail, as they did many times, and he carried them when he needed to. They lost some games, but in the finals, they're going up against a juggernaut of an offense and really, you know, a great basketball team.
LeBron has been averaging stellar numbers in the playoffs, 34, 9, and 9. In Game 7, played 48 minutes, 35 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists. What else should he do? Can he do, you know, to take down the big Golden State Warriors squad?
For me, it's to win 1 of the first 2 games on the home court of the Warriors.
To steal 1 at Oracle Arena, okay.
Because if you take a look at the semifinals, they were able to get 1 in Game 7. But I believe that if they don't get 1 of the first 2 games, it might not go to a Game 7 anymore. It might be a short series. But if they get at least 1 of the first 2 games, then they might improve their chances down the road.
How about you, Coach Tab? What else should LeBron have to do? You know, we know he's a machine, but some way, somehow, he really needs help. We know he's the best. He can put up stellar numbers. He can play an entire game, but what else should he do? Can he do?
Andre, I really don't think there's more that should be asked of him. So say he goes out and averages 50. Still not going to beat Golden State. I think if there's any area that you have to ask him to be superhuman, It is in the energy area. It's at the defensive end to be inspiring, because there were times in the Boston series where he got tired, he got a bit lazy at the defensive end, and maybe he just has that knowledge that when I need to rise to the occasion, I can. But now he's facing a team that has at least 3 players, Green, Curry, and Durant, and you throw Thompson in there as a maybe, but those 3 guys can rise to the occasion as well. All 3 of them in various ways. So I just think it's unfair. And I think we shouldn't be asking any more of LeBron. We should be saying to that supporting cast, you got to be great defensively, and look, you got to get locked in and make shots. If you do that, then Golden State's defense is going to get stretched, or LeBron's going to have more room, and then maybe some good things can happen for the Cavs.
Well, we've been talking about it, the supporting cast. You did mention J.R. Smith, the Corvers. How about the guys like they brought in during the middle of the season when they made an overhaul, like Clarkson,
Yes.
Larry Nance Jr., Rodney Hood, who hasn't been playing. How crucial will they be, if ever they're even going to be inserted into the rotation, Coach Tai Lu?
I think that in certain times during the semifinals and even previous to that, Rodney Hood, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance Jr. proved that they can compete against the best. When I looked at the rotation of the Cavs in the last 2 games, they only played 7 players. When I checked the number of players that Boston used, it was also at 7 players.
That's right.
Probably 8 because of garbage time, but at the most it was 7 versus 7. But I think for the Cavs to at least be able to last the entire series, it has to go deeper, because the Warriors really use their bench to the hilt. They play small ball, they kill you with their pace, they kill you with their quick shots, and they force you to make mistakes because they're so good defensively. If the Cavs only play a total of 7 players, then I think that is the first step towards a short series. Rodney Hood probably needs to play, can be matched up against Nick Young or Quinn Cook. And Clarkson has proven that he can score, but he has to prove that he can defend. Probably will match up at times against Livingston, probably at times against Steph Curry. But Larry Nance has to once again overexert himself. He was key to that Game 6 win by Cleveland, key to that Game 3 win by the Cavs. He's going to be important, not just because he is a good defender, but they need rebounds for possessions. They need to match the defensive energy that is brought by just one man on the Warriors team, which is Draymond Green. Someone has to help out LeBron, be a monster on the defensive side of things. If it's not going to be Tristan Thompson, we'll do it for the Cavs.
Anything else you want to add, Coach Tab?
I just think now with the predominance of the switching defenses in the NBA, again, who's going to play in the middle of that Cleveland roster, who can switch out and guard a Curry, or at least, you know, pretend to guard a Curry or a Durant.
Like what Capella did in that series against him.
At times he did. And I think Thompson might be exposed a bit if they try to go to him. So Nance might be a guy. He's mobile. He's an athletic guy. He might be a guy that can help them in that regard. But again, you know, I'll tell you something that I think is going to be interesting. What's going to happen in the third quarters? Is Tyronn Lue going to finally try to do something to stem this, you know, this really unbelievable characteristic of the Golden State teams?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, if they can do that in Game 1 or Game 2, there might be a psychological edge to say, hey, we have Golden State's number at least in one area, or maybe a couple of areas. And as Coach Ronnie said, if they can steal one at home, then is it going to be LeBron playing 48 minutes early in the series? I think they should. Why save him for something that may never happen?
All right. Gentlemen, a pleasure having you, and we will definitely continue our conversation as the series progresses. Thank you again. We just had former Gilas Pilipinas head coach and current Ateneo Blue Eagles head coach Tab Baldwin, and PBA legend and the head coach of the Philippine 3x3 team, the point laureate, Coach Ronnie Magsanoc. They gave us a preview of the NBA Finals between the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers.